Dr. Justin Cohen joined us again to tackle the topics of finances when experiencing a job loss and how to ignite that entrepreneurial spirit within. Welcome back, Justin.
Thank you, Z.
So we've lost our job and we are feeling really down. How do we deal with the emotions around finances?
Well, we have to ask that critical question. What can I do about it and get a game plan, right? So obviously now you don't have the same money coming in and there are a number of options. Look, some people would need to declare bankruptcy. And by the way, that is a real option that can actually provide a fresh start. For others, it may just be a question of cutting down those expenses. And if you don't currently know what those expenses are, that's why keeping a budget is so important. And then being willing to reach out to others. You're not in this on your own. You know, women are better than this than men. We kind of feel like we got to get it all sorted out on our own. But be willing to reach out to others, right? To your friends, to your family. You know, they want to help and support. And hey, you would do the same for them.
I want to tap into what you just said right now. Sometimes when people are going through severe difficulties like job loss, where so much of your identity has been linked to the job that you do, some people don't share that enough. And unfortunately, that sometimes lands up in devastating, situations like suicide. What are some of the tips that you can give if you feel like you really can't share but need to? Because there's so much shame and guilt around that.
Look, what you could do is reach out to a counselor. And obviously, if you're having any suicidal thoughts, that's absolutely critical. And hey, that can be anonymous. You can pick up the phone, you don't have to give your name, you don't have to say who you are. Z, there are even psychotherapy chatbots that are now available where you can literally chat to an AI. Now that might sound a little crazy, but one of them is actually Harvard Medical School approved. It's widely used, it's called Wiser. And that is fully anonymous and can be quite helpful. Yes. So if you're struggling with the stigma, you can go that route. But I really want to encourage you to get over that. Hey, we all struggle. Yeah. I know sometimes we look at social media and we think everybody else but us is having this amazing life. Don't judge your life on other people's photoshopped social media images.
On their highlight reels.
On their highlight reels, thank you, right? Everybody is fighting a tough battle. We just don't see it. But what we know is those who are willing to reveal, to reach out, to connect. This is the critical part. We are social creatures. And we need that connection. And it's not necessarily that that person is necessarily going to solve the problem for you, but just having somebody who you can share what's going on. We know this is what's called the talking, what Freud called the talking cure. Just being able to vent, to be able to talk about what's happened. And if you're really not quite ready to do that, writing it out. So research shows that even if you just write about your feelings, write about the struggle, put it out there, create a little bit of psychological distance, right? When you can see it there on the page, you can get a better sense of what you can do about it.
Thank you. You once said something to me that I'll never forget about financial difficulty, and you said sometimes people like to do renovations when the house is burning. Do you remember that? And it speaks of people who don't have money and yet use retail as therapy. How does one manage that space where you've got no money and then you use the little that you do have to fill that void?
We might need to chop up that credit card. Yeah, we might need to hand over financial control to our partner if they are more responsible than us. Yeah, it's the same way as gamblers get themselves banned from casinos, right? So they literally cannot walk in because they're not under temptation, even though they said now they don't want to. When that temptation arises, they may be tempted to.
So one of the things you said earlier on is look for what's right about the situation. I want to speak about entrepreneurship because you have coached entrepreneurs around the world in terms of them bettering their game and their gigs. How does one find that entrepreneurial spirit if it's never been you, if you've been tied to a job your entire life, but now you want to break free from that and become your own boss? Yeah,
look, entrepreneurship is not for everyone. One of the ways to know if it is for you is how driven you are by a purpose to serve, because that's what we see in every great entrepreneur. If you look at Bill Gates, the purpose was getting a computer in every home in the world because he knew how empowering that could be. If you're just trying to be an entrepreneur to make some money, I mean, that might work, but in my experience, Entrepreneurship, it's a long journey. You know, when I look at my entrepreneur friends, you know, many of them ate humble pie. They slept on couches. They didn't take a salary for many months, right? Because they were driven by something bigger, so they were willing to do that. So if you've got a purpose, something that you want to give to the world, and to put this in more practical terms, what is the problem that you want to solve? You know, look in your community and your family. What is a problem that you believe is not being solved at the moment, right? That you may be able to solve, because that's what we do. That's what service is. You know, Einstein said, don't try and be a person of success. Be a person of service, and success will follow.
Justin, thank you so much. You always leave me, and I have no doubt the nation, inspired and motivated with your optimistic viewpoint. Thank you very much once again for your time. Don't go anywhere, because we are going to be giving you tips on how to boost your confidence for your next job interview.